Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this, our continued coverage of all this past weekend's action across the pond, across the Atlantic Ocean. Amateur upstart, Olympic gold medalist,
Lauren Price
advanced to a professional record of 7-0, effectively becoming a full-fledged world champion in just 7 professional bouts opposite America's own Jessica McCaskill, the still reigning Ring Magazine WBA champion after 8 or 9 rounds and about scheduled for 10.
Story of the fight.
It's what I told you. Lauren Price was going to be too fast on her feet with too much speed in those hands for today's Jessica McCaskill that's pushing 40 and has so obviously lost a step. Lauren Price on the balls of her feet, on her toes, moving around, getting punches in. Jessica McCaskill coming forward. She was an easy target for Lauren Price. It really was target practice for her. Lauren couldn't miss Jessica. Whenever Lauren let her hands go, Jessica, a come-forward pressure fighter who's never been big on defense or big on technique. There was a time when Jessica could get away with these technical deficiencies, but that time is long since passed. It was evident in the Chantel Cameron fight, the Sandy Ryan fight, and this past weekend's fight. Round by round, she was falling apart. Noticeable swelling on Jessica McCaskill's left eye as the fight progressed. Each round more dominant and more one-sided than the last as Lauren Price ranked blows down upon her. The speed was too much. And a bit of size. Lauren Price is not the most heavy-handed puncher per se. She's not, but you could tell that the punches were taking something out of Jessica. Perhaps that's because Lauren is a naturally bigger woman than Jessica McCaskill. You could see the difference in size, and you could definitely see the difference in speed.
Was dramatic.
I think Jessica should hang them up, is what I think she should do. I think that the state at the weight, the division right now,
It's too deep.
and she's lost a step. She has so clearly lost a step. She's already been in there with WBO champion Sandy Ryan, already been in there with former champion Chantel Cameron.
She was just in there with Lauren Price.
There's nowhere to go from here. Nowhere to go but down.
Down.
I don't say what I'm saying out of spite. I say what I'm saying out of mercy. The beatings are only going to get worse. You cannot reverse the hands of time.
There's no going back.
Jessica ain't got nothing to be ashamed of. She's been a champion at 140, an undisputed champion at 147. For a fighter with such a limited skill set, she has had a lot of success and collected some very noteworthy scalps. Erica Farias, then number 1 at 140. Cecilia Brækhus, then undisputed at 147. Jessica was an overachiever.
In every sense of the word.
She's fought in big fights, fought against big names, collected some big scalps, and was scalped.
She's had a complete boxing career.
For what is in many ways an incomplete fighter. No, Jessica's no tactician, no technician. She only has one way of fighting a fight, but she has managed to parlay that into a lot of success.
Now it's time to hang him up.
I think it is, because it's not going to get better from here on out. It's only going to get worse. Long gone is the Jessica McCaskill that retired Alma Ibarra.
She hasn't looked good since the Cameron fight.
It's not going to get better. Just thinking aloud, because thinking's allowed. As far as Lauren Price, WBC welterweight champion, 2-time welterweight champion of Croatia, Ivana Habazin was in attendance. And what that communicates to me is that in all likelihood, behind the scenes, the wheels are already in motion for a unification match between Lauren Price, newly crowned WBA and Ring Magazine champion, and Ivana Habazin. That may very well be Lauren's next fight, her 8th fight.
Ivana wasn't there by accident.
If Ben Shalom hasn't already started negotiating the fight between them, I've no doubts after this weekend, that's what he means to do. That's what he's going to do. And I expect Lauren Price would do to Ivana Habazin what she just did to Jessica McCaskill. The speed is too much for the veterans at this weight.
She's another one.
Ivana Habazin has been at or around these weights for a very long time. Some years ago, she reigned as IBF champion. Some years later, she's WBC champion. But she ain't got it. Not for Lauren Price. Lauren is too fast, too athletic,
Too sharp.
the price is right. Lauren Price on points against Ivana Habazin is the logical way to go. How does she fare against the other champions at the weight? Well, if she were so confronted with Natasha Jonas. I'd favor Lauren to beat her too. She's just a lot bigger and a lot faster. She'd take Natasha Jonas's IBF title from her if they did fight, but they're not about to. Natasha's said to be running it back with Michaela, so it might be Michaela that Lauren is so confronted with. And that is a tougher assignment. The same applies to Sandy Ryan. The same applies to the WBO champion. That's a tougher assignment than the one she just had this weekend. Chantel would be too. Chantel Cameron, she doesn't have a belt. She doesn't have a belt right now, but she's still one of the somebodies at or around these weights. Just some things to think about on the heels of this past weekend's action. Lauren won handily against Jessica McCaskill, but there are tougher assignments out there than Jessica McCaskill.
Congratulations.
In men's lightweight news, during the Vasyl Lomachenko versus George Kambosos IBF title fight, reigning WBA champion Gervonta Davis took to his social media and said, "He's after Frank. Let me get Frank first."
He who?
Vasyl Lomachenko, after 7 or 8 years, close to a decade of avoiding that fight, it seems that Gervonta Davis has now found his balls. Now he wants to fight him. Is that what it is?
Not the Tim Bradley.
Tim Bradley disregarded Gervonta Davis's public call-out by suggesting that Vasyl Lomachenko will fight Emmanuel Navarrete or Denis Berenchik, the winner of their fighter, perhaps Shakur Stevenson, but not Gervonta Davis, because Gervonta has been avoiding that fight for years.
Tim wasn't buying it.
He disregarded Gervonta Davis's call-out, and Gervonta, as you can imagine, he didn't like that. He reacted by saying, "Tim Bradley ain't shit and a bitch." Y'all see this?
No, but I'll tell you what I did see.
One of the guys, obviously, you and Shakur got into it on Twitter. You was like, you wanted them 6 or 7.
Yeah, he's definitely one of them.
For sure?
Yeah, he's definitely one of them.
Do you pick, like, what order is in, or you just, like, whenever it happens, it happens?
whenever, because, you know, he's he on a different side, so him saying, let's fight, he knows that we ain't fighting right now.
Oh, because of the opposite side.
Right, because it's his people. He know that, even him.
You just told Cigar Talk, not but a little over 2 or 3 weeks ago, that the Shakur Stevenson fight hasn't happened because you're on different sides of the street. Shakur is on the same side of the street as Vasyl Lomachenko.
The top rank side.
So how do you then say that Vasyl Lomachenko is next when he's on the same side of the street as the guy you're saying that you can't fight? You're saying you can't fight Shakur because he's on top rank. Then how are you going to fight Vasyl Lomachenko?
He's on top rank too.
Or is it that you're not going to fight Vasyl Lomachenko or Shakur Stevenson? You're just talking out your ass. You're just talking shit. You're so fucking stupid, you forgot what you said, and you forgot that they recorded it. If you can't fight Shakur because he's on top rank, Vasyl Lomachenko's on top rank too. So what are you talking about?
Bunch of nothing.
If you've been paying attention to what Gervonta Davis has been doing the last 2 weeks or so, the last 2 weeks that his fight with Frank Martin has been officially announced, he's been picking fights with Shakur Stevenson, taking shots at Devin Haney, taking shots at Eddie Hearn. Now he's promising a Lomachenko fight after the Martin fight. He is so obviously looking for an angle to sell his own fight, sell his fight with Frank Martin, because
nobody knows Frank Martin.
You're naming all the somebodies at the weight because what you're about to do is fight a nobody.
A fucking nobody.
Who ain't done nothing. He's never been a champion and he ain't beat nobody. Forget about all of those burner accounts and ghost accounts and alt accounts you see on Twitter trying to talk up Frank Martin as if he's on the same level of a Lomachenko or a Lopez or a Stevenson or a Haney. He isn't.
The paying public, the people that count, they know he isn't.
You're just trying to sell your shitty little fight with that nobody. But for argument's sake, let's say it's true. Let's say Gervonta takes care of business against Frank and he fights Vasyl Lomachenko next. What's the problem there?
This is title for him because after Haney, I want to finish my boxing career. And I don't need. I took after this fight with Haney, I was proof to myself. Я доказал все для себя. I proved to myself in this sport, and I don't need to continue. But my father, I see every day he sent me news with me, and every time he sent my last fights, highlights, and I feel he want to continue. He wants a title again, and he tell me, hey, we need to do one more time this one. We need to do fight again for title. And it was hard decision for me because I'm tired. And but I love my family, I love my father, I respect my father. My father built me in the boxing, in the life. And this is title, this is win for my father.
I think you can feel.
There's your problem. There's your problem. If Gervonta Davis were to, hypothetically, find his balls and finally fight this guy, he will have waited until the guy was courting retirement.
You think people are gonna give you credit for that?
Waiting 7 or 8 years to finally fight this fucking guy. Waiting until he loses to Teofimo Lopez, then he quote-unquote loses to Devin Haney, starts courting retirement, saying that he's tired and he wants to hang him up. You think people are gonna give you credit for waiting that long to fight that guy?
They're not.
They're gonna say you're a fucking coward, because there's an established paper trail that shows how long you've been putting this off, how long you waited to fight that fighter.
Not that I believe Gervonta, because I don't.
You said you haven't fought Shakur because he's on the top-ranked side. Well, so is Vasyl Lomachenko, so how could he be next?
He won't be.
You're just talking, because that's all you really are. Just talk. All talk. It's what Bob Arum said.
Calling out on social media. That's easy to do on social media. I can call out Mike Tyson.
Gervonta Davis can call out Vasyl Lomachenko, who he has so obviously been avoiding for 7 going on 8 years, hiding behind the politics of boxing, when the politics of boxing did not stop Tyson Fury, a top-ranked fighter, from facing Deontay Wilder, a PBC fighter, not once, but twice.
You can't use that excuse.
The real reason you haven't fought Vasyl Lomachenko and you're not going to fight Shakur, it's not because they're top-ranked fighters, it's because you're just another risk-averse fighter.
Coward. I never seen nothing like it. Such unapologetic cowardice.
In relation to that story, Ryan Garcia reacted to George Kambosos' lopsided knockout loss to Vasyl Lomachenko by saying, "George Kambosos sucks. I'm sorry," to which George responded, "1 more belts than you'll ever win, princess. The clean way. Cheating dog. I'd rather go out on my shield against the best and lose like a man than cheat the weight advantages and enhancements like you did. Let's have a street fight then. Fuck the ring. Use all the pads you want." To which Ryan responded, "I'm sorry, bro, you suck. Like, actually, I'd KO you in less than 5 rounds. The truth is the truth, and the truth hurts."
Sure, as long as you get to blow the weight and use Osterin, you might.
Ryan Garcia followed up by saying, "I slept with George Kambosos' wife, no cap."
Wow, this is what he's tweeting on Mother's Day.
He's taking shots at the mother of George Kambosos' children. While behaving like a child himself, he continued, "When it comes to this mental warfare shit, I'm the best. My next goal is to make sure George's wife and I are together forever and we raise his kids."
How anybody could be a fan of this guy, I don't know.
Him and Gervonta Davis are 2 peas in a pod. Peas in a pod in the sense that neither of them have any redeemable qualities.
They're scum.
And the only people that find them appealing are either children or those with the mental faculties of children. I mean, imagine trying to defend Ryan Garcia,
Asserting his innocence.
going up to bat for him. The only reason his gimmick goes over so well with the audience that he panders to is because the audience that he panders to, these are not actually boxing fans. These really are teens and tweens, or those who wish they still were.
He may be all the rage with them, but the boxing world and the boxing community is fast growing tired of Ryan Garcia.
This is what you're doing when you're under the microscope for blowing a weight and testing positive for banned substances. This is what you're doing. You're trolling George Kambosos' wife, taking shots at her, saying, "I slept with his fiancée. I can beat his ass, and he can't do anything about it. I'd be pissed. He still hasn't come out to play. Ryan, that's not Christian. How about what you do? That's not human. Judge harder, you'll be judged the same way."
And you won't?
Veteran promoter Lou DiBella reacted to Ryan Garcia's spiel by saying, "Nice Mother's Day tweet, Ryan. And how Christian on a Sunday. What the fuck's wrong with you, son? This isn't the Ryan Garcia I knew and was a fan of. He was a decent kid, not a lying, antagonizing, cheating, derelict piece of influencer shit. Please get help. You are unwell."
Influencer is right.
A derelict piece of influencer shit is the best way to describe Ryan Garcia and the audience that he panders to, because those are the kind of people that are following him. kids.
The people who still wish they were.
Ryan responded by saying, Lou, what do you know, Lou? You didn't know me, nor know me. You had a picture of who I was. You don't know what I've been through.
Oh, so what you've been through makes it okay to take shots at George's wife?
You have no right to judge. The fingers always point back. Mike Tyson, for example, said many outrageous things, but you love him.
You're not Mike Tyson.
You're a hack. You're a guy who found a shortcut in this postmodern era via your social media to amass a large following that you could have never amassed with your boxing because you're not talented enough.
That's why you had to come in 3 pounds over. That's why you had to cheat.
Because you're not good enough, and the audience that you pandered to may eat it up.
Your gimmick.
Because you are a gimmick. But how long before somebody gets to you? I mean, how long, really? Will it be before Ryan Garcia gets knocked out again?
He will.
George Kambosos responded to Ryan by saying, hey, I slept with your mother, if you want to get that low, you dog. Shows the classless person you are, talking about my wife, the mother of my kids. You're dead when I see you. No boxing. To which Ryan responded, bro, I was joking. My bad, B. Ha 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 ha. People are hilarious.
What are you, a 12-year-old?
Truly, does Ryan Garcia think himself a 12-year-old child? Because he seems to behave like one. He trolls on the internet like one. But he's not a 12-year-old child. He's a man in his mid-20s. He's 25.
That's what he's doing. He's trolling. He's trolling the entire boxing world for the fighter that he isn't.
The talent that he doesn't have.
And the people who are defending him.
What people? What people? You mean these people?
With that prepared statement, came out 20 minutes after the news broke, and then he's doing an ESPN interview dancing on his grave. He's participating in it too. So that's another hypocritical angle. And that's my opinion. You tell me I'm wrong about that.
Hypocritical is never no. Hypocritical is when Alicia Baumgartner tested positive. Who was one of the first ones jumping down her throat? Ryan. Screenshots are all out there. So that when he tests positive, oh, he's supposed to get some kind of amnesty that he didn't give her.
Like Ring IQ, have some kind of content to chew on. Let them take the blood, mix it up in a drink, and then they can go on and have something to talk about on their shows.
I have a question for what's his name, Eden. Do you think if you kiss Ryan's ass on enough podcasts, he'll let you sit on his lap?
You were just talking about storytelling. Is this storytelling hour? Are you referring to they got to explain what these results say? Is that a story? You were just talking about stories. You've heard stories of these other PEDs. So is this story time?
That doesn't exonerate him of guilt. Nothing I said is a matter of opinion. Everything I said is a matter of fact. And one of the guys that I mentioned, Alexander Povetkin, he had a 2-year suspension because he tested positive for the same drug that your boy just tested positive. What do you have to say about that? Nothing, right? I didn't think so.
I've minced words with those who would defend Ryan Garcia against these cheating allegations.
These are not the smartest people.
Not the brightest bulbs. And while they may be riding the wave that Ryan Garcia created now, can he create another one? Does he actually have the talent to do it, to keep it up? Because you won't be able to come in 3 pounds over and piss hot for Osterin with everybody.
Like you just did with Devin.
It's not even that I'm expecting Ryan's punishment to be all that harsh.
I'm not.
No, I think Ryan Garcia is on borrowed time, not because of his Osterin situation, but because he's not actually very good.
He better go do movies or something.
Box other influencers, because as long as he's in the sport of boxing boxers, it's only a matter of time before he gets knocked out again.
And you know how fickle people are.
They're on your jock right now because you won. You won your last fight, but if you lose, will those people still be there? I say, enjoy it while it lasts, Ryan, because nothing does, and this isn't going to.
Nope.